Have you been having a hard time making decisions lately? The stress of the pandemic is making that a thing that so many of us are dealing with. Professional life coach Diane Merriam is back. Today, we're going to talk about our values and how they can help us navigate our lives. Hi, Diane.
Hi.
Could you talk a little bit about this pandemic period and the indecision and the stress and how we could be moving forward, in a more healthy way with some clarity that comes from knowing our values?
Sometimes making a decision is difficult anyway, but with the pandemic going on, it really complicates it. You're making decisions with not all the information, and some of the information that you have could change in the next day. And just to clarify, values are not something that is right or wrong. It really kind of identifies who you are and what's important to you, and also just the hierarchy of the importance. Once you know what your values are, what your intrinsic values are, it really can help you make decisions a lot easier. Again, I want to qualify that with the pandemic, sometimes it's still going to be complicated because information is changing all the time. But simply knowing your values really can help you to make those decisions with a lot more ease.
Years ago, I met Diane and knew that she was a life coach, and I signed on with her. I credit Diane with helping me get the courage to move to Philadelphia. I credit Diane for the courage to start my own voiceover company and make a bunch of other really positive changes in my life. And I also really struggled with indecision. If you remember, that was one of the problems I came to you with, right? And once we worked together and I got clear on what my values are, making decisions is really not so hard.
It was interesting when you said, Diane, I credit you with moving to Philadelphia and my voiceover career. What was really interesting, what I wanted to say was, I credit you for that. Those were all the things that you wanted to do. It was me who helped you hear the self-sabotaging things you were saying to yourself and your limiting beliefs. And once you hear that, and once you know what's important to you, you were able to take steps forward. Really, all a good coach does is really listen for what's important to you and listen for where you're holding yourself back.
Identifying those roadblocks. That was huge.
Yeah. And when you're in your own life, it's really hard to see them. But when you're working with someone who shines a light on them to you and you can see them for what they are, they're not as scary. A great way to find out what your values are is just to ask yourself some simple questions.
Such as?
Well, on a deserted island, what would you bring with you? If you could pack only one thing in your suitcase, what would you bring? Now, for some people, they might say, I would bring my family, or I would bring God, or I would bring, whatever's most important to them. So values are, family, spirituality, travel, fun, creativity. There's a whole range of them. I have a client who, one of her big values is family, and her next value is travel. She and her husband travel all the time, and they haven't been able to do that. So that's really a challenge when you can't fulfill a value in a way that you used to do it. So I've been working with her on ways to maybe not go and see her children, but to connect with them in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Would you have any advice for people who never really gave values much thought and they're not really sure who they are or what is important?
Yeah, I have to say, I think that the best way to do it is with somebody that can guide you through it, because it really is kind of like a treasure hunt. And it really is helpful if someone is taking you through it and asking you questions and helping you string it along. Another way to uncover a value is just to say to yourself, what do people say about me? Or what do I want people to say about me? That's a value. Another way to uncover a value is to kind of look at things that you don't necessarily like about yourself. Like, let's just say I don't like that I get angry. Well, what's the flip side of angry? The flip side of angry is calm. That's the value. Kind of look at the things that you're challenged by and flip it over, and there's the value.